Sekaloth had only purchased the lives of himself and his followers by abandoning all of the food and provisions to the ravenous ogres. Lost in dangerous foreign lands, with no supplies, wisdom would have him turn back and return through the portal. But this particular Quaddle had long since turned from the path of wisdom to embrace his hunger for power, and so he commanded his forces to continue. As he did, scouts were sent ahead to seek out settlements that could be raided to restore the lost provisions. After more than 2 days of travel, one of the scouting skinks returned to the Quaddle.
"Master, we have found buildings, houses of men,"
the creature spoke, bowing low before the Quaddle. "Defenses?" the Quaddle's mind asked.
"No, master. All that could be heard is the sound of humans rutting."
"Mammals," Sekaloth thought with a sneer. "Only they would allow themselves to be so blinded by passion, to leave themselves defenseless in such a place. Attack quickly. Take everything you can." As the Saurian force moved upon the settlement, so engrossed was he in his own thoughts that Sekaloth did not note the wrongness of the sounds coming from it. Not just the sounds of passion, but a darker, more impure chorus rang from the homes. Suddenly his eyes widened as he sensed a great power from within the center of the village. "Beware!" he telepathically shouted to his troops. "We are in danger! The unclean ones are here!" And in response, a greater demon in service to the dark god of lust made itself known, and its blazing eyes locked onto Sekaloth's, promising him his every desire. It took all of Sekaloth's mighty will to resist that moment, and when he finally broke away from the courtesan's gaze, he saw an army of demons rushing towards him. Alright guys, welcome to Game 2 of the Southern Assault GT. After having just an absolute beatdown, courtesy of the Ogre Cons, I find myself on the bottom table in the tournament, facing off against a pretty awesome, mostly Lust Demon Legions army. So, pretty super cool. I've not played the demons before, so I'm not really sure what to expect. But I'm ready to just have fun. I'll be honest, being on the bottom table takes away a lot of the pressure. So I'm just kind of ready to have fun and see what happens. Again, I'm not going to go deep into my list just due to the fact that I already have the video up. Check that if you want to know the details. But let's go ahead and get into my opponent's list and deployment. Alright, so starting on the left here, we have 5 mounted sirens with the Steeds of Lust. Behind that is a unit of 5, I think, of the Furies of Mark Pestilence. Then we've got a big unit of 25 Sirens with the Champion and the Banner of Speed. Behind the Impassable Rock is a Blazing Chariot. Next to that is a unit of 4 Pestilent Beasts. Then a big unit of 16 Horrors with a Musician and Champion. Then on this side, hiding behind the hill, he has his Courtesan of Lust, who is the general, obviously, 3 learned spells to divination, has the Lash of Lust, Shackles of Reality, Horn of Damnation, and I think that's it. Next to that is his unit of 5 Clawed Fiends. And then we go to me. I go ahead and match up my Caimans across from the Fiends. From what I look at on paper, maybe they perform differently, but I'll match my Caimans up against those guys without too much problems. I go ahead and line up a little bit of shooting to figure to deal with those, the Horrors, And then I put my generals unit. I figure I'm going to need to match magic to deal with the demon, and that's pretty much what I've got to do to get the best range, is put him in the Stygiosaur so that I can have 21-inch range on my magic missiles. Having to not worry about cannons, I go ahead and plant the Taurosaur up top in the center with some more shooting there. And I realize the Sirens are going to be weakest to my shooting, so I load all the rest of my shooting heavy on this side. And I figure, on paper, I should have a good matchup with my Spearmen against the Sirens, so that's kind of what I give them. So, Demon Legions dropped. We went kind of back and forth a little bit, but he dropped most of his army, so he goes ahead and goes turn 1. Pushes up real hard here on the side. He's hoping to take out that shooting before I take him out, pretty obviously. Over here, he had to bring up the chariot up front. I'm presenting a pretty tempting target for him in terms of shooting at the Taurosaur, so he's coming up there. Everything else is kind of waiting to see what I do, I guess. Except for the Clawed Fiends, he takes the bait and starts bringing them after the Caimans. And again, I'm happy with that. I think that the Clawed Beasts are going to really regret going to face the Caimans. So my turn 1, I go ahead and look on over here and get ready to start shooting. Pretty much unafraid, I start marching my spearmen up, and I leave my archers here to be able to do some shooting. And over here, everything else comes up like I'm not afraid of it, and with the exception of his greater demon, that's pretty much true. I've heard the Beasts of Pestilence are pretty good, but I'll match them against my unit of Temple Guard and the support of the monsters there without much trouble. And I'm certainly not afraid of the horrors in close combat. I just got to get to them. I go ahead and pop scrying off 6-inch radius so I don't have to worry about getting shot at, or worry about it less, I suppose. I do some shooting and kill all but 2 of the Furies. I do some more shooting, or maybe a spell. I don't recall which. But I end up plinking 3 wounds off the chariot. And we go into Demon Legion's turn 2. Demon Legion's Clawed Fiends go into the Caimans. I say bring it. These guys try and rush at my skinks. I shoot them to death. And the chariot and the Sirens go into the front of the spears, and then what happens to even the things up is he pops Spectral Blades on the Sirens. That changes the game quite a bit. He's now hitting real good. He's wounding like crazy, and I'm in trouble now. My thought is I'm probably going to be able to take out the chariot before he goes, but this just went from what I considered a sure thing to a much more dangerous prospect. Yeah, over here, things went pretty much as I expected. He killed one, came and put 2 wounds on the other, and then I murdered the unit to a man. And I turned to bring these guys into the center. And wow, that one spell made a huge difference. Yeah, he puts just absolute pain on my unit. And I think I auto break. I killed some of him, obviously, but the difference was astonishing. I either auto break or needed a really low number and didn't get it. On the plus side, I did manage to take out the chariot before I went. So my plan is here now. I'm just going to start attacking him like piranhas with these shooting. Just kind of keep him moving. I'm probably going to end up having to sacrifice the bowmen to do that, just because they're not fast enough to keep circling him. But between the hunters and the spearback, I should be able to just pick him to death before he can get into anything of substance. You can also see, and I forgot to take a picture of this earlier, he did bring the pestilence beasts into the Taurosaur. I've been really bad about not getting charges with that thing, and I don't think I play them very well. I play them more like Empire buff wagons, which is just a huge waste of points. And over here, things go way bad. I believe I kill one of the pestilence beasts, but in return take 5 freaking wounds on the Torosaur, and that's not good. He's probably not long for the world, so I got to get him some help ASAP. And that's pretty much how we do it. I go ahead and slam the Temple Guard into the side here, figuring it's time to save him. Bring up the Stygiosaur to come cause some problems over here for these horrors. And I'm thinking maybe try some swarming insects on the courtesan. Infect her with her own crabs and kill her off would be great. But we'll see how that works. And over here, the Caimans decide they're going to carry on their murdering and keep moving up. And yeah, I just kind of reform again. I'm not moving the archers because I figure they're dead anyway. Might as well get some shooting off on them first, and everybody else just kind of starts circling around. Over here, I do manage to kill the pestilence beasts without taking any other wounds. Yes! So they're toast, and now it's coming down to the courtesan, figuring out how to deal with that. I did, as you can see, kill off a number of the sirens, and goes to Demon Legion turn 3, goes ahead and goes into the flank of the archers. Now, I hadn't talked about what the scenario was at this point, and it was capture the flags. And I wasn't thinking. My opponent chose this unit, my Caimans, and the spear block as the 3 he was trying to kill. He's already got the spear block, and now I just let him have the archers. It's probably what I had to do to kill these things, but it's running the risk of me losing hold of the scenario, all because I wasn't thinking about it. And that was kind of one of the big worries I had dealing with this tournament, because we don't really focus on the scenarios as much, and it was definitely something I wasn't thinking about here. Also, you can see he brings up the 2 remaining Pestilence Flurries that he'd been hiding for a while to chaff up the Torosaur, and has turned his courtesan at me to deal, I think he's going to try and lash the Stygiosaur to death. Over here he gets some spell off on the horrors, and I'm sorry, I just don't remember what it was. And then he does some shooting and kills off the remaining Caiman. The lash goes off and manages to pop 2 wounds on Stygie. And obviously, skinks in the side aren't going to stand up to this unit at all. Rushes into the ruins. Might lose one from dangerous terrain to the ruins, I don't recall. But now I need to start just shooting like crazy. So I decide to go ahead and throw the Spearback and the Caimans into this unit. I think this is going to be great. I'm going to cut them apart, and we'll be in good shape. He did stand and shoot on the Caimans and inflicted 1 wound. Over here, I decided to go ahead and run around the Stygiosaur off to the side, and I charged the Torosaur into the 2 Pestilence Furies. They're just going to die, so I'm okay with that. And these guys start chasing around after the sirens. And Swarm of Insects shows that Stygie is in the house. I gave that freaking courtesan a nasty case of crabs because she takes 5 of her 6 wounds. Yeah, it was bad. It was stupid. I'm rolling 5d6. I want to say it was something like 27 or 28 hits. I mean, it was almost max. Opened up on him, got a bunch of wounds. He throws, I think he had some armor and the 4-up regen. Still ended up taking 5 wounds, which was awesome. And then I decided to go ahead and finish the job with the Quaddle, unerring strike, and the courtesan is down. Was a miscast, cost me 2 of the Temple Guard, but I think that is an absolutely perfect exchange. I do also get the healing waters on the Taurosaur to give him an extra wound just in case these Pestilence Furies get lucky. And I open up some shots and manage to kill off a few more of the Sirens. And I kill the Furies and overrun to the point where you see me here. And then this goes really bad. I kill 1 horror between all of my units, and I lose a whole Cayman for my effort. This has started to make me worried because this is the last unit he needs to kill to get all of my my points, and I have to kill this unit that I'm on now to get them. But if he kills them, then the best I can get is a tie in terms of the scenario. So that's just I'm kicking myself right now. Demon Legion turned 4. He turns around and comes back out of the ruins. And then during combat, he kills, he does enough where he breaks the Caymans and the freaking Spearback, and chooses to run down the Caymans, catches them, and this is where everything ends up. And because of where I moved, he's now not able to be charged by the Temple Guard. So Saurian Ancient's turn 4 is basically me just turning around and getting everything in line of sight. The Spearback did rally, so that's a bit of a plus. These guys moved a little bit, maybe. And then Swarm of Insects to my rescue again. I don't know what I'm shooting those insects out of. It may be a howitzer. But yeah, I killed just a bunch of these dudes with that. That spell has been just amazing this game. Then I do some more shooting. Looks like I peel off 3 more of the Sirens. And I think I throw the poison shots from the back of the Taurosaur and kill off a couple more of the horrors. I think I'm down to 3 if I'm looking at that right. DL turn 5, they charge the Spearback. I stand and shoot. All that is left is the unit champion and the Harbinger that's in there. So I'm thinking my thought to just shoot them apart definitely is working as intended. These guys reform here to look at me. That character is enough to take out the Spearback, so kills and overruns to here. And Saurian Ancient's turn 5. I go ahead and charge in the Temple Guard. They're going to take those 3 out, no problem. And I start bringing the other Spearback down to shoot more of the remaining 2 that are down at the bottom. And here comes my blowgun guys to do the same thing. I get scrying off just not to take any chances. Boom, the unit is dead. All that we've got left here is the his battle standard bearer, and she ended up having 2 wounds on her from poison. Sekalot's unit and his Temple Guard make short work of the horrors. And then we go to Demon Legion's turn 6, and the courtesan cowers behind a hill, having really nothing else to do. So Saurian Ancient's turn 6, the skinks come for their comeuppance and move to shoot this bitch. And they succeed. Poison for the win. You can actually see the results up there. 4 poison shots. Just go ahead and end her. So this one I did pretty well. Saurian Ancients victory, 16-4. Could have been a 19-1 if I hadn't have been stupid enough to forget about the scenario and serve up one of the 3 units he had to kill on a silver platter. I could have fled with them, maybe would have succeeded to escape, I don't know, but I could have gotten a few more points there. Definitely taught me to look at, look at the scenarios and really pay attention, because I cost myself points here, absolutely. And it's actually funny those points that would have been the difference put this particular player higher than me in the final rankings. If I had turned this into a 19-1 and everything else played out the same, he actually would have come in lower than me. But it was pretty crazy. There was a lot of like really small point value differences in the final rankings. So the other thing that was cool about this, like I said, I never played Demon Legion before, and this actually won the fan. I don't remember. It wasn't the fan favorite, but it was the special prize for most disturbing, because this was a really cool looking army. This was also the first of a group of fellows, the Columbia Misfires, that I got to play. I ended up playing 3 of the 5 members of their club during this tournament. Great bunch of guys. They're actually doing a tournament here at the beginning of September. I think it's the 9th and the 10th down in Columbia, South Carolina, that I am trying to figure out some way to be able to go, but I don't think it's going to happen. But if anybody is interested in going to that tournament, definitely help support these guys. Go play. They're great fun. I'm sure they'll run a great tournament. If you want more specific details, reach out to me in the comments. I'll be more than happy to put you in touch with the folks who could give you that info. Good game. I enjoyed it. Swarm of Insects and Stygie were my absolute MVPs here. They were awesome. But it was good. I felt I was relaxed. I wasn't really like worrying about winning or losing, so I think I played better. I made less stupid mistakes, certainly. And just had a good time. So my climb upwards is definitely starting here. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you would like to, go to my Patreon, which will be linked in the video description below, and donate whatever you feel is appropriate. Anything helps, helping me get to more tournaments and producing more content for you to enjoy. So I got 3 more coming soon, hopefully in the next week. I'm getting everything out, but you guys definitely stick around for the next one to see where I climb from here, and we'll see you at the next video, and thank you for watching.